Okay, happy morning. Today we are going to see about perceptron and associate memory network, right? We are in unit 1, that is introduction to neural networks. In the previous class, we have studied about neurons, the structure of biological neuron, what is meant by artificial neuron, isn't it? And also the learning techniques, and then artificial neural network architecture. These things we have seen in the previous class. In today's class, we are going to see about perceptron and what are the basic elements of perceptron. Next one is associative memory and its types. It consists of two different types. They are auto-associative memory and hetero-associative memory. So first, let's see what is perceptron. Perceptron is an algorithm is mainly used in supervised learning of binary classifier. Okay. So what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is one of the learning method in which the inputs are known, the inputs which are given are known, and also the expected output is also known. The only thing is we need to develop a model which will bring the needed output. Okay, that is called as supervised learning, isn't it? Is done under the supervision. Next, this in perceptron we get only two outcomes, that is either 0 or 1. So it is mainly used for binary classifiers. Okay. So in short, perceptron is a single layer neural network. Okay, what is perceptron? It is a single layer neural network. So single layer means what it means? It consists of only single layer, that is input layer and the output layer. Okay, single layer means it consists of only input layer and output layer. The output layer itself will act as a processing element also. Okay, the processing is done in the output layer and output also displayed in the output layer itself. So it is called as single layer, right? Next, they consist of four main parts. This perceptron consists of four main parts. They are input values, and then weight, then bias, net sum, and activation function. Okay, input values, weights and bias, net sum, and activation function. These are the main parts in the perceptron. It is developed by Frank Rosenblatt by using McCulloch and Pitts model. Okay, by using this these two persons model only, this perceptron has been developed. So what is the main function means? It acts as a basic operational unit of artificial neural network. Okay, this perceptron will act as a basic operational unit of artificial neural networks. So where we are using this, it is mainly used in supervised learning rule, and it is able to classify data into two classes, because in binary classifier the result will be, the outcome will be in form of zeros and ones, right? Let us see the schematic diagram of perceptron. This is the picture you see here. First, we are giving this x1, xn minus 1, xn, or the inputs we are giving. Along with that, we can also give some constant if it is needed. Okay, so we can give the inputs and also constants. So along with this input, we also provide weight. For each and every input, we need to provide the weight. So for example, for constant, the weight is 0. For input 1, weight 1. For input n minus 1, weight n minus 1. Similarly, for n elements means the weight will be n, right? Next, once after giving the input and weight, then there is a process called summation. Okay, here what happens means the input and weight are multiplied, and each and every input likewise multiplied and then added together. That is the part done in the summation. That is called as weighted sum. Okay, For example, x1 w1 plus xn minus 1 into wn minus 1 plus xn into wn likewise. Okay, that is the weighted sum. After that, there is a step function that is called as activation function. So once after activation function is over, then the output will be reached out. Okay, this is the working procedure of perceptron for a single layer neural network. Okay, so let us see the basic elements. We have seen that there are three basic elements, isn't it? What are they? Links, adder, and activation function. So along with the links, we provide input and also the weight, isn't it? So yeah, in the link itself, we provide the input and weight. So link, it would have set of connection links which carries a weight including bias along, always having the weight of 1. Next one is adder. Adder is nothing but the summation part. Okay, it adds the input after they are multiplied with the respective weight. As we have seen the figure, I told you, no, this input and also the x1 w1, x1 into w1, we have to multiply each input with its weight, and then we have to add it to the other input. Example is x1 w1 plus xn minus 1 into wn minus 1 plus xn into wn. So that is the answer for this weighted sum. Okay, so that's what given here. In the adder, we have to add the input. After that, we have to multiply with their respective weight, right? Next one is activation function. This activation function will limits the output of the neuron. So depending upon this activation function only, the output of the neuron will be received. The most basic activation function what we use here is Heaviside step up function. Okay, Heaviside step function, which has two possible outputs. What are the two possible outputs? 1 and 0. This function returns 1 if the input is positive, and it returns 0 if the input is negative. These are the basic element of perceptron, right? It consists of three things: links, adder, and also activation function. Link consists of input and the weight. Okay. Next, adder will add the each input when multiplied with the weights. Okay, corresponding weight. Each input is multiplied with corresponding weight, and finally all the inputs are added. That is called as summation or adder. And third one is the activation function. Here Heaviside step-up function is used, and the output will be either 0 or 1 based on the input. Okay, next let's see about the training algorithm for this perceptron. The perceptron network can be trained for single output unit as well as multiple output unit. If we use single means, then we will receive single output only. Okay, when we are using multiple perceptron, then we will receive multiple output, right? So first we have to initialize the training things. What are they? Means we have to initialize the weight, bias, and also the learning rate. Okay, we have to initialize the weight, bias, and learning rate. For easy calculation and simplicity, weight and bias must be set to 0 and the learning rate must be set to 1. Okay, next step 2, we have to repeat the step 3 to 8 until we get the we reach our condition. Okay, so continue step 3 to 8 when stopping condition is not true. Next, again we have to continue step 4 to 6 for every training vector x. In the step 4, we will activate each input unit. Okay, we need to activate each input unit. So how we will activate means we will activate input xi is equal to si, where I is equal to 1 to n. Okay, in the next step we will obtain the net input. Okay, So net input with the following relation. How we get net input means by calculating this y is equal to y of input is equal to B stands for bias. B plus summation of xi wi. So xi wi is the input and the weight. Okay. So the input, the net input will be given by adding the bias along with the summation. Okay. Next, we have to apply the following activation function to obtain the final result. Next, it goes for activation function. Depending on each problem, the activation function may vary. Here we use Heaviside. Next, adjust the weight and bias. So, when we need to adjust the weight and bias, if the once after giving the activation function, we will receive the output. If the output is the output which we are in need, or which is the expected output, means then there is no need to repetition. Okay, we have already studied that in supervised learning the output will be known already, isn't it? So there will be an actual output which we receive after calculation, right? But previously we know what will be the expected output. Okay, இந்த output தான் வரணுங்கிற expectation நமக்கு ஏற்கனவே தெரியும். ஏன்னா for example, when we give patterns such as we are giving some animals, okay, pet animals like dog, cat, okay, and then rabbit. Likewise, many inputs we are giving, and we need to identify dog alone. So we know the output, that the output, the expected output is dog only, isn't it? So once while we are entering these as an input, these animal names or figures as the input, we are giving this image as an input, and then processing is done with this multiplication and all, and after that summation is done, and then we are providing the activation function, and we are getting some output. Okay, if that output is our problem is to identify the dogs. Okay, so how many number of dogs are available in that input. Okay, so we are getting the output as cat. So what happened? The input does not match, isn't it? Our requirement is, our problem is to identify the dog only. We need to identify the image dog, and we need to count how many dogs are available. But we are receiving the output as cat, means is that matching? It is not matching. So again, at that time, what we need to do means we need to adjust the weight and bias. Okay, so we need to adjust the weight and bias until we get the output as dog. Okay, so after once we are receiving the output as dog, then we can stop. That is the stopping condition. Okay, so test for the stopping condition, which would happen when there is no change in weight, right? Next, let us see about the testing algorithm. Okay, so in the testing algorithm, finally we will reach what is our, that is the testing algorithm will give the final answer, that the actual output and the expected output, both the output should be on same, right? Okay, next let's see about the associative memory network. Okay, so the term associative means what? Associative, that is grouping together. Okay, associate means some people are sitting together, means then we can say it as associate, isn't it? So here these kinds of neural networks work on the basis of pattern association. Okay, it works on the association with patterns, which means they can store different patterns, and at the time of giving an output, they can produce one of the stored patterns by matching them with the given input pattern, right? So as I have told in the previous example, I told you, no, we are giving input as images of some pet animals. Similarly, what happens, it is called as patterns. Okay, so there will be so many patterns. We are storing so many patterns, and once after we are processing, we will receive some output which will be available in our pattern, that is input pattern, that is called as association. Okay, these type of memories are also called as content addressable memory. It is also called as CAM. Okay, content addressable memory. This associative memory is also called as content addressable memory or CAM. This associative memory makes a parallel search with the stored pattern as the data files. Okay, this also makes a used for making parallel searching. Okay, for searching also we can use this associative memory. Next, there are different types of associative memories. They are auto associative memory and hetero associative memory. Let us see one by one. First, we are going to see about auto associative memory. Okay, here this auto associative memory is also a single layer neural network. Okay, it is also a single layer neural network in which the input training vector and the output target vector are same. That is, the number of input and number of output both are same. That is called as auto associative memory. Okay, for example, if we are providing 10 input means then there will be 10 outputs. That is called as auto associative memory. The weights are determined so that the network stores set of patterns. Okay, here also the network will store set of patterns. Then example is given in the figure. You see here there are n number of inputs we are providing, and once after processing we will receive n number of outputs. Okay, next, here there is a training algorithm for auto associative memory. First we have to initialize the weight to 0. Okay, we have to initialize the weight to 0. That is w is equal to 0, I is equal to 1 to n, and also j is equal to 1 to n because it consists of n number of inputs. Okay, next we have to repeat the step 3 to 4. Okay, so perform step 3 to 4 for each input vector. So what we have to do, we have to activate the each and every input. So activating each input as xi is equal to si of I is equal to 1 to n. Similarly, yj is equal to sj of j is equal to 1 to n. Next, we have to adjust the weight. So how we have to adjust the weight? Old weight is new weight is equal to old weight plus xi yj. Okay, this looping will be repeated. Next, we have to use the testing algorithm. In testing algorithm, we will use this training algorithm and then we will make testing. Okay, so in the step 1, we have to set the weight obtained during the training of Heap's rule. Then we have to repeat the following steps. That is, we have to activate the inputs which is equal to that of the input vector. Then once after activation of all the inputs, then we need to calculate the net input. Okay, so net input is equal to summation of xi wij. Okay, next after that we have to apply the activation function to calculate the output. So activation function yj is equal to f of y input of j, that is equal to +1. Okay, the result will be +1 if this input is greater than 0, or -1 the input is less than 0. Okay, next let us see about the hetero associative memory. This hetero associative memory is also a type of associative memory, and both this auto and hetero are similar only, functioning and all, but only one difference is that the number of input and number of output will not be same here. Okay, but in auto associative memory what happens? Both the number of inputs and number of output received will be matching, same, isn't it? But here it will be different. So however, in this network the input training vector and the output target vector are not the same. So what happens here? Also the weights are determined so that the network stores a set of pattern. Okay, the hetero associative memory is static in nature. Okay, does not change. Hence, there would be no non-linear and delay operations, right? This is the example. You see the figure. There is n number of inputs we are providing, but there will be m number of target output vector, right? Let's see the training algorithm. Here also similarly only. First we have to initialize the weight to 0. Then we have to activate each and every input. And then we have to adjust the weight, right? The testing part only little bit changes here. What happens means we are applying heaps rules to get the weight, and then we are repeating the process. But here what happens, and finally in the activation function we will receive 3 outputs here, okay? But there we received only 2 outputs. Here we receive 3 outputs, that is +1 if the input is greater than 0, and 0 we will receive 0 if input is equal to 0, and -1 the input is less than 0. Okay, that's all the difference between the auto associative memory and the hetero associative memory. This is a reference. You can refer either tutorial point or Java point for further details, right? Thank you.